So, you're a property manager. You already know that juggling just one owner's portfolio can be a real handful. But what happens when you're managing properties for, say, 10, 20, or even 50 different owners? Okay, let's get into this because the complexity and, the risk, it just skyrockets. And that brings us to the one question that should probably keep any property manager up at night. Are you 100% certain you aren't accidentally mixing their money? It sounds so simple, right? But in the daily chaos with rent checks coming in, expenses going out, those lines can get blurry and the consequences can be disastrous. And look, that's really not an exaggeration. Mixing funds, what they call commingling, even if it's a total accident, isn't just a simple bookkeeping mistake. We're talking about a major legal violation. It can cost you your license and, yeah, even your entire business. This is exactly why having the right system in place isn't some nice-to-have luxury. It's an absolute necessity. So let's really break down the heart of this challenge. When it comes right down to it, managing for multiple owners is all about one thing: total, complete, unbreachable separation of their funds. And this isn't just, a best practice. It's a legal command. The official name for this whole concept is trust accounting. And you should think of it like a sacred, unbreakable wall. On one side, you've got all the tenant security deposits and the rent money you've collected for your owners. And on the other side, that's your company's money, the cash you use for payroll, office supplies, you name it. Those two sides can never, ever mix, period. What's so helpful here is how this breaks down a big, scary legal concept into 4 concrete things you have to do. First, you've got to segregate the funds, keep them in separate accounts. Second, you have to provide crystal clear reports for each specific owner. Third, every single security deposit has to be tracked according to your state's strict laws. And finally, you have to be ready for an audit at a moment's notice. Now that sounds like a ton to handle by hand, and honestly it is. That is exactly why specialized software is so important. So let's look at the must-have features you need to basically build a digital fortress around your trust accounts and stay on the right side of the law. So any software you choose has to nail 4 things. First, it's got to enforce that financial isolation we just talked about, right down to each individual owner. Second, it needs to handle different legal entities, because let's face it, tons of owners hold property in LLCs. Third, a self-service owner portal. Oh, that's a game changer. It builds so much trust and cuts down on all those phone calls by giving owners their statements 24/7. And last but not least, you need to control who on your own team can see what. Your leasing agent probably doesn't need access to sensitive owner financials, right? All right, now for the fun part. We know what we need, so which platforms out there can actually do it? Let's jump into a head-to-head comparison of some of the biggest names in the property management software game and see how they really stack up. Okay, here's the 30,000-foot view. As you can see, most of the major players have solid trust accounting, which is great. But they're wildly different when it comes to things like AI features, whether or not there's a free tier, and support for commercial properties. Let's zoom in on a couple of key matchups to see what that really means. So if you're just getting started, Tenant Cloud is incredibly attractive. I mean, a free tier for up to 75 units? That's a fantastic way to get your foot in the door. But once you really start to scale and manage properties for other people, a platform like Buildium becomes pretty essential. It was literally designed from the ground up for third-party managers who need that full-blown suite of trust accounting and reporting tools. Now, at the higher end of the market, you've got 2 totally different approaches. AppFolio is betting big on AI to automate things like leasing and maintenance, which for huge portfolios is a serious game changer. Rent Manager, on the other hand, is for the ultimate control freak. And I mean that in the best way possible. If you have a really complex mix of properties, commercial, residential, maybe even self-storage, its ability to be customized is just second to none. Okay, so with all these choices, how in the world do you pick one? It can feel pretty overwhelming. Let's try to boil this all down into a super simple 3-step guide to help you find the platform that's the perfect fit for your business right now. First things first, you got to be honest about your scale. How many units are you managing today, and where do you think you'll be in a year? Second, what kind of properties are they? Managing a commercial building has way different needs than residential. And third, based on those 2 answers, you can pretty much slot yourself into the right category. Are you looking for a free starter option, a platform that can grow with you, or a full-on enterprise solution? So let's actually apply this. Let's say you're a small manager. Maybe you just launched your business, and you're handling somewhere between 1 and 50 units for just a handful of owners. For this group, the choice is actually pretty straightforward. You could start with Tenant Cloud's free option to keep your costs at 0, which is perfect for getting off the ground.
Or if you want to start out with a more professional foundation from day one, Buildium's Essential Plan gives you full, proper trust accounting right out of the box.
But what if you're past that starting line? You're in growth mode now. Your portfolio is expanding fast, and you're managing somewhere in the 50 to 500 unit range. Your needs are getting a lot more complex.
In this sweet spot, the most important thing is finding a platform that can actually grow with you. Buildium's Growth Tier is a really solid choice for the mid-market, and Yardi Breeze is another powerful player, especially if you happen to have a mix of property types. Both of them are built to handle that growing complexity without making you jump to a massive enterprise system before you're ready. Okay, so you did it. You picked your software, your central command center, your data's secure, your accounting's compliant. You're all set, right? Well, not quite. Your work doesn't just happen inside that one program. There's a final and often totally overlooked layer of security we have to talk about: how you manage all your digital keys. I mean, just think about it. Your day isn't just spent in one app. For every single owner, you're logging into separate bank websites, different insurance portals, city tax payment sites, and all the utility accounts. This just perfectly illustrates the hidden mess. You are personally managing dozens of super sensitive logins across the web for totally separate, competing people. And here is the huge trap almost everyone falls into. If you're using the same web browser, like Chrome or Safari, for everything, you're creating a massive security hole. Websites use cookies and other tricks to track you. So when you log into owner A's bank account, and then right after that, log into owner B's, you're leaving behind these little digital breadcrumbs that can cause weird errors, session conflicts, and even trigger fraud alerts with the banks. The solution to this problem is something called browser isolation. It basically means creating a completely separate, walled-off browser environment for each owner or client you manage. So what you do for owner A is totally invisible to the online world of owner B. Tools like Sendwin are actually built for this exact purpose, to stop that dangerous cross-contamination. So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Picking the right property management software is absolutely crucial for securing your data and staying compliant. But that is only half the battle. How are you securing the access to that data and to all the other critical websites you use every single day? Answering that question is what really separates the good property managers from the great ones.